Attention, traffic control. Traffic control. Got two planes coming out on the runway to make their way to Arizona. First, Kansas City. Come on down the runway. Come on down the runway. Second, Philadelphia Eagles. Come down the runway. Y'all going to Arizona to play in the Super Bowl. Man, what's going on, y'all? It's another day on the Day One podcast. I'm your co-host Anthony. Co-host Kyle's at work, so it's just me. It's just me. Um, it's been a crazy night. The last night. Great games. We saw a lot of crazy stuff. We're gonna break down these two matchups really. I think it's really about all that I want to talk about, and then we're gonna do a very, very early sneak preview at the Super Bowl. I mean, it's no secret, Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl. I think this is what a lot of people had. I had this at the beginning of the year, so you know I was right. Although my bracket was busted, so is Kyle's bracket. Yeah. But I mean, this is a matchup that everybody kind of saw at the beginning of the year. So it's no surprise that these are the two teams that are left standing. I mean, these are the two best teams in football. The Chiefs proved they're the best team in the AFC, and the Eagles proved they're the best team in the NFC. So it's going to be a fantastic game. I cannot wait. Super excited. Um, yeah, man. See nobody coming in here. I might just start off. So we're gonna break the AFC matchup down first. I think that's the best way to go about it, and to keep it a stack. Um, you know, listen, it's no secret um that these two teams are the best in the league. There's no question. They showed it. They showed why, and some surprising results. Some things that are about expected. Do I like? Do I like it like this? I don't really like it like that. Like it like that. That's our like usual. We'll keep it like that. So I think we should break down the AFC side. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. I gotta be honest with you guys. I was so fucking lit last night. I was gone after the Eagles game. I was gone. I had a bit too much of Crown to drink. I must have drank a third of a bottle by myself. um, the most lit I've ever been, which is crazy. Um, but why not? Why not? So I wasn't really paying attention to this game through and throughout. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this game to be honest, to really get the scope of what's going on. But I can give you my thoughts to what I saw. So the Kansas City Chiefs take down the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20. Very, very entertaining game, evenly matched the entire way. And at the very end, they forced a big stop, big 3-and-out, and punt, and they get a really good return. Although there were some comments thrown around about lack of officiating and some missed calls there, but nonetheless, it was a good return. Sky Moore got him close to midfield, um, and then Pat Mahomes scrambled on, I think it was third down, scrambled out of bounds. Bengals linebacker, forgot his name, but pushed Pat out of bounds. He was already out of bounds, pushed him, got a 15-yard penalty, and then that's pretty much what sealed it. Um, it was a tough game. We saw how much of a coin flip that this game was. I mean, both these teams could have won. They Joe Burrow, he looked a little shaky, but you know, the Kansas City defense came to play. I mean, he had 26, 41, 270, a touchdown, and two picks. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase got theirs. I think for me with the Bengals, a lack of a consistent running game. I mean, Joe Burrow was your leading rusher. Um, I don't I never really believed in their running game to start. Um, but I mean, it is what it is. Uh, hey, shout out our co-host Kyle. Love you, brother. You already know what it is. Yeah. Um, it, it was tough to the very end. This game came down to the very end. And the Chiefs, they finally got off. They finally got off on them. Burrow had no more. That was so hilarious. Travis Kelsey at the end of the game calling out the Cincinnati mayor, calling him a jabroni. He was like, Burrow had my ass. That was funny. Um, but no, I think that was really the key point in the game. I mean, in these deep championship runs, you see the more disciplined teams, not necessarily like the better team overall. Because you can look at the roster in this one, like player for player, and have an argument that the Bengals roster overall is better than the Kansas City roster. But I mean, it was clear that the Chiefs were more disciplined. I mean, you cannot have penalties like that, especially in late situations. That just comes down to coaching. Mm. So Patrick Mahomes, another trip to the Super Bowl. I mean, this guy, we're witnessing history here. Um, it's just a year of witnessing history. To be honest, I mean, I'm starting to lose count of how many times guys made the Super Bowl in the last 6 years. Um, I mean, what he's won one. I think this is his third one now. Um, always in it, always contending. That team, they got damn good coaches. And Pat Mahomes gets an entire 2 weeks to rest that ankle, so he'll be as close to 100% as he can be, and so will Jalen Hurts. So it'll be good to see what Patrick Mahomes can do against our defense. I'll get into my initial thoughts on the matchup, and we'll be breaking this down for the next 2 weeks up until kickoff in Arizona. So yeah, I think this was an all-time classic game. Obviously, came down to the wire, and the Chiefs just out executed and capitalized on the mistakes of Cincinnati late in the game, and that was the difference. Um, and it's going to be in these close games like that. I mean, they were tied for they were neck and neck, tied. It was just like even. I thought they were going to go to OT. I just didn't expect them to punt and just give up a good return. Yeah, but shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs, AFC champions. Um, very much deserving. And yeah, man, it's gonna be good. Hopping over to the NFC side, the Philadelphia Eagles demolished the San Francisco 49ers 31-7. Um, as an Eagles fan, bro, this is one of the most wackiest games I've ever watched, especially in the first quarter. Um, I mean, you had the opening drive, which they went right down the field. The fourth down, one-handed grab by Devontae Smith had me hype. I was so hype at work. They had the high IQ to get on the ball quick and run a play before the 49ers could challenge it. And they capitalized and scored a touchdown. And then you saw the angle that came out after the commercial break that Smitty didn't really catch it. But you know what I say, bro? What are we talking about? Because they didn't challenge it. They didn't review it. They just kept playing. They got the ball off. So you know what? It's a catch. It's a catch. Even if he caught it or not, it's still a catch. Uh so that, and then I mean, the Brock Purdy, the strip sack by Hassan Reddick, and it unfortunately injured him. I mean, a lot of the Niners were dropping like flies. I mean, first was Fred Warner, who was fine. Um, then you had Purdy. Then you had Nick Bosa, and other guys. I mean, it was just crazy. Guys were dropping like flies, and then the Eagles punt hit the TV, the sky cam wire, and the official was like, no, you know what, we're not gonna do a redo of the down. We're just gonna play it as if like nothing happened, and it's cool. So I was like, all right, whatever. But um, yeah, I mean, that was the wackiest first quarter. Um, for the 49ers, the start of the game, they did a good job of stifling our run game and the pass game early on. I mean, we had a couple three and outs. We couldn't really get nothing going. They were like passing wise. I don't know what the hell they were calling. But the big turning point in that game was Josh Johnson coming in and not being able to uh withstand the pressure, the consistent pressure that we were able to get with Hassan Reddick. And you know what? I called it. I said Hassan Reddick's gonna have a field day today. 2 sacks, one forced fumble, sack fumble. Crazy. He went ham, bro. He went ham. Um, and after that, I mean, at the end of the second quarter, it was tied 7-7, and it went in the half 21-7. The Eagles just absolutely capitalized on every opportunity that the Niners gave them to score points and take possessions away. Um, like the second quarter drive for them to like get something going, long sustained drive, which was lean towards the run, but still a pass. You know, Shane Steichen had a brilliant game plan in this one offensively to kind of take on Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, Greenlaw, all the fast, quick guys that they have on that defense. Um, and you saw the effect that a dual threat quarterback has on NFL play on defense on NFL defenses and these defenders that are world class. I mean, all game, Fred Warner is pretty much spying Jalen Hurts, and he is just standing, watching, making sure that he does not break one. And while he's doing that, Miles Sanders up the whole 10, 15-yard gain. Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, our three-headed monster of our run by committee, they went off. All three scored. Or did no, they didn't. Um, yeah, no, Gainwell didn't score, but Boston Scott did, and Miles Sanders scored twice. I mean, it was just a brilliant game offensively. Defensively, they just imposed their will. The one thing that I did see, I mean, Christian McCaffrey was going off in the second quarter. I mean, we could not stop him. We could not stop him to save our lives. And that was the reason why it was so tight and so close for that first half. Um, they were stopping us, we were stopping them, but after a while, Christian McCaffrey started to get going. We couldn't really stop him. um, and yeah, but once we were able to get some turnovers, we were able to open the game up wide open. And it was nothing like I ever seen. Um, I mean, the way that the Eagles just absolutely dominated the Niners. Now, and to be completely honest, I gotta keep it a stack because a lot of people are not going to give the Eagles credit for how dominating they were in this win just because there was no style points. I understand that there's a lot of people out there that they want to say, oh well, I would like to see Jalen Hurts throw for 300 plus, throw it all over the yard, tud 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 tud. He's that guy at quarterback. But when you have an offense as good as the Eagles, where you can literally win any single way that you want to win, and I've been saying this all year, and the Eagles have showed me this entire year, they can beat you any single way in any type of game that comes their way. You want to take the run away? Cool. You want to sit back and send 4? That's cool. Jalen Hurts going to pick your defense apart. You want to press and have one-on-ones on the outside or whatever? Jalen Hurts will hit you. Although he had some misses this game, still kind of like iffy with the shoulder, I guess. But, it's got to work on the timing. He's got 2 weeks to kind of get right. That's another key in a little bit that I'll get into that I like for the Super Bowl matchup. But, I mean, okay, so then you wanna take away the pass? It's cool. We'll run the ball, whether we keep it with Jalen or he hands it off to the backs. We can run, pass, we can do anything. You know what I'm saying? They can beat you any single way that they want because this offense is just that good. You cannot stop them. You can only hope to contain them. And nobody has been able to contain this offense. Especially when they're not making mistakes. That's the biggest part about this. The Eagles have not beaten themselves in this postseason run. They've executed to perfection, near perfection. Have had little to no mistakes. And they've just been playing their game and have been so locked in. And that's the key. When the Eagles aren't going to beat themselves, there's no shot. Absolutely no shot. I think they're by far, hands down, the best roster in football. I don't think anybody's going to go in there and just outright beat the Eagles. You're going to need the Eagles. You need to force mistakes. You're going to need them to be making mistakes on their own and just capitalize on that. Yeah, I mean, it's no secret why the NFL is the world's best when it comes to football. These guys are the best in the world. So this is why they play. They play the best of the best. But the Eagles have been showing why they are the best of the best in this postseason run. Now, granted, they're going to say, well, we beat Daniel Jones and Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson. But you know what? You know what? In 2019, when the Eagles were in the wild card and they made it with Carson Wentz and a bunch of like traffic cones at wide receiver, guys off of the street, like dudes living in boxes. And then Carson Wentz got hurt in the first quarter. Josh McCown came in, literally tore his hamstring off the bone, almost won. They didn't care. They didn't give a shit. So you know what? Why should we give a shit that Brock Purdy got hurt? It happens. It's part of the game. And not only Brock Purdy, but Josh Johnson got hurt too. They were down to Christian McCaffrey coming in at quarterback. Him or Kyle Juszczyk. That is, you got to be down astronomical, bro. But it's part of the game. So why discount it if you're not going to keep the energy the same? You know what I mean? It flabbergasts me that, like, all right, we didn't beat them at full strength. I would have liked to play Brock Purdy the entire game. I still think we would have won. It wouldn't have mattered. But that's just the Eagles imposing their will. They got to Brock Purdy, forced the turnover. It was just unfortunate that he got hurt in that play. And the same thing with Josh Johnson. They got to the quarterback, forced a sack, and his head hit off the turf. It's just how this shit goes. I mean, it's just the way that the game is. We've been well reminded numerous times this year that football is a very dangerous game. And it spares nobody. So it's just tough that it happened to the 49ers with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. But I gotta keep it a bug. They asked for it dressing the Rocky statue. Anytime, you got to keep it as a track record, bro. Anytime that the op comes into Philly and puts their threads on the Rocky statue, 38-7. 38-7. We went easy on them this time. We just put up 31 instead of 38, but still 31-7. Took it easy. 31-7. We could have went 38. Scoregami. But No, it's part of the game. I don't think you discount the win just because you also dominated the what many would like to say is the best team in football. Possible defensive player of the year candidate Nick Bosa. Where was he? I didn't see. I did not hear a peep. I didn't hear a peep from him. Lane Johnson with a torn adductor, a torn groin, neutralized him. Absolutely neutralized him. And you know what? A lot of people were complaining about the officiating in this game. I'll keep it a buck. Listen, I will say, like, listen, that was a BS call. That was a BS call. The roughing the kicker, I can see that being a little ticky tacky watching the replay back. Because I mean, I guess you can make a case for Jack Stoll pushing the defender into Brett Kern, but I mean, I guess that's the only one you got. Other that and the Smitty grab that wasn't challenged, but you have to. That's on Kyle Shanahan to be like, hey, review that stuff because the Brock Purdy strip sack, they called that incomplete. Um, and this the difference in the game was the coaching. And I mean, I expected it to be a 4D chess battle, but I didn't expect them to just get flat out coached. Um, but it showed in this game. I mean, the Eagles had very much better situational awareness than the 49ers did in critical moments in the game. Um, I mean, that was a huge turnover. That was a beautiful challenge. It was clearly a strip sack, strip fumble, whatever you want to call it. We got to him as the ball's coming out, and then he like with the throwing motion flung it across the field just because it went off of his arm because of the torque. And big shout out to Linval Joseph for grabbing that ball, making sure that he had possession because there's been a couple of those calls in the past. I believe the Eagles and the Bears in the wild card in 2018 or something like that. Something happened where it was like catch fumble, but they ruled it incomplete. But nobody ever picked the ball up. So when the Eagles challenged it, the ruling on the field stand because nobody ever picked the ball up. So there was no they determined it to be a fumble, but there was no clear recovery by either team. So it stayed as the Bears ball. So big IQ play. I think the Eagles are one of the smartest teams in the league, and it's no secret as to why. They showed it in this game. They showed it in this game. It was on full display. Give me a second. I gotta take water. My voice raspy as hell. I was screaming up a storm last night because I was hype about this game. I again, I gotta keep it a buck. I didn't see this. I had a feeling. I had a feeling like I wasn't. I was gonna keep it realistic, but I had a feeling in the back pocket like, hey, could be a pack watch. And we go to Philly Mike's live call in that was on at the end of the night a couple nights ago. Shout out Philly Mike. Shout out my dog. Um, he's like, give me that score prediction. I'm like, listen, I don't have an exact score prediction, but I can tell you I think it's gonna go one of two ways. It might be a close, low scoring defensive grudge match, is what it was looking like in the first half. Um, but I was like, listen, that atmosphere Jonathan Gannon said it was something else going in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're smoking on a Brock Purdy Niners pack at the end of the night. And he said, "Ooh wee," and I'm like, that's just how I'm feeling. That's just how I'm feeling. Um, but yeah, no, the Eagles, their game plan was marvelous. Absolutely marvelous to attack this 49ers defense. I mean, they used Fred Warner like a chess pawn, and they just left them frozen. I mean, whether it was Jalen, whether it was Miles, Gainwell, Boston Scott, he just had no awareness of which gaps to fill. He was just standing still. He was like a deer in the headlights. And that just goes to show how good of a scheme that the offensive coaches and more in particular Shane Steichen has installed with this uh, zone read RPO um, system. And for the for what many consider the best team in best defense in football. For them to struggle like this against this defense, and the Eagles didn't really throw the ball that much because they didn't have to throw the ball that much. You know why? Why? Like, all right, they're running the ball down their throat, and it's like, well, you're not passing. Well, why do they have to pass? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Um, and I guess another part of that is like, all right, the score is so inflated, you don't really need to do too much. So why risk Jalen throwing a pick, um, and switching the tide of the game just because you want his stat line to look good? He doesn't care if he threw 121 yards in this game. He's going to the freaking Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl. You know what? I need me another one of these, bro. Let me blow it up for y'all. Listen, this one right here, this one is cool. You see it says world champion and it got the Lombardi with the eagle. This one, this is cool. I need me another one. I need me one right here. I need me one right here. I need me two, bro. I need me two. That's just how I'm feeling. I need another one. And we're there. We're right there. One more. We need one more. Um, but well, back to the one thing I did want to touch on is the officiating. Listen, I'll keep it a stack. If I see a BS call, whether it's in an Eagles game or just any other game, regardless of who's playing, if there's a call that's questionable, I'd be like, yeah, that was some BS. Like the Smitty grab, like I said. Okay, yeah, it wasn't a catch, but the Eagles had the situational awareness to run up to the ball, snap the ball, run a play before the refs and Kyle Shanahan jumped on it to challenge it, because that'd have been big momentum shift in that first quarter. That was the start of the game, and they were like, it was like, it was two immovable objects trying to move each other. Um, so that was a huge turn in the game, but it's on the coaching staff of the Niners not catching that one. Um, and then I guess the roughing the kicker call, just because like you have Jack Stoll blocking him and he turns, or like the Niners player turns to get to Brett Kern. Um, but it in my opinion it wasn't clear 100% that he, you know, arms extended, pushed into Brett Kern. I would say that would be my opinion on that. I think that's probably one of those that could go either way. But other than that, like all of those calls that the Niners got were legit penalties. They were all 100% legit. The personal foul on Jalen Hurts after the fact, running out of bounds. He kind of sold it a little bit. I thought that was funny as hell when he got up. He was like, "I'm good." They mad. I'm good. That was a legit penalty. There was a PI call on Goddard, um, where Ward rode him up the field like 10 yards. There was one on AJ Brown where I think it was also Jimmy Ward had him turned around in his break. He was spinning like a fucking top. Incomplete. It was almost a pick, but they called it PI. Um, you know what I mean? Um, Trying to think what else there was. They were just absolute. Oh, the face mask on Boston Scott. He for like a 1 or 2 yard gain going out of bounds. Why are you grabbing his face mask? Why? Like, what are you doing, bro? This is the NFC Championship game. You've been playing over 21 weeks of football. There's no secret as to why you're here. It's not like you just don't deserve to be playing for a trip to the Super Bowl. I mean, the 49ers are a damn good football team. And that's why they got to this point, because their defense is top tier. But I mean, we saw a collapse of monumental proportions on Sunday, folks. It was just the penalties that they were committing was just ridiculous. Um, I would have been screaming at my TV if it was the other way around. If the Eagles were committing penalties like that, drive killing penalties, defensively, like you know, because they were doing some good things to stop our offense, but those penalties were just freaking killing them. And it was out of frustration and lack of discipline. They were just super sloppy. Um, and that was the one thing that showed. The Eagles obviously were the more disciplined team. They out executed the Niners. And I knew that the Niners were going to be a little dirty and chippy. When things weren't going to go their way. They came into Philly with the big boom box. Debo with whatever the hell he was wearing. I don't know what the hell that fit was. Um, he had to walk out of the link after getting blown out 31-7 in that fit. So I don't care. You did it to yourself. And the boombox was silent. They walked in there like yeah, like we are entitled to the Super Bowl. No, you're not. No, you're not. Absolutely not. And they got a rude awakening for sure. They had 196 49ers fans try to take that stadium over. Not going to happen. I did not see an ounce of red in the sea of green on Sunday. Not an ounce. Nada. Zero. Zero. Um. Yeah. I mean, it showed that these two teams outmatched. The Eagles outmatched the Niners. Um. And like I said, you didn't have to get there was no style points to be had. Um, and that's fine. However, you have to win. Whether Jalen Hurts throws for almost 400 passing yards or he throws for 100 passing yards. As long as the Eagles get the win in dominating fashion like this, I really don't care how the stat line looks. Um, and that's just one of the reasons why they're the best team in football. Yes, I'm going to say they're the best team in football. NFC, AFC, don't care. Don't care. They're the best team in football. And it showed. They did their job. They did their job, obviously, 31-7. Um, and it was a magical moment for sure. Yeah. Give me a second here. Um, so yeah, that's my thoughts on everything. I'm not gonna get I mean, I did kind of get too crazy, but I'm gonna wait for the co-host to come back, and we'll do another pod getting his thoughts. Um, on all these games. I'm interested to see what he has to say because he was on the Niners train all week, telling me, "Oh yeah, they're the best team in football, and there's no secret why." Blah 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 blah. Jonathan Gannon, he's gonna get exposed. Um, didn't happen. 31-7. 31-7. Um, well, yeah, we'll get we'll get his thoughts when we get back when he gets back. But why don't we dive into this matchup right here? The Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. It's like I gotta put the way too early. Is it way too early? Both these teams just played yesterday. Game ain't for another 2 weeks. Is it too early? I don't know. But listen, this is my we'll keep it relatively short. Um it's my way too early preview for Super Bowl 57. The match has been set. It is going to be Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs taking on Jalen Hurts, Mr. Hurts season himself, and the Philadelphia Eagles in Glendale, Arizona. Sunday, February 12th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm amped. I'm absolutely amped, ladies and gentlemen. I'm amped. As an Eagles fan, listen, let me keep it a stack. My co-host has been calling me delusional and saying, well, I've said the hopium phrase, but he's been joking with me about the hopium in this program is crazy. You know what I have to say to that? You know what I gotta say to that? I need me another one. I need me another one. And you know who's gonna buy it for me? Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is gonna buy it for me. I did just order the Super Bowl cap, the Golden Hurt season snapbacks. Shout out to Lord Brunson. I've been rocking with him for a minute. Only 306 for all 306 completions of Jalen Hurts this year. And if you buy, you get a chance to get tickets to the season opener next year. So 1 in 306, go get one. If they're not sold out already, go get one. At his Twitter at Lord_Brunson. Shameless plug, but it's cool. Anyway, this is gonna be a very, very good matchup. You have two high-powered offenses going at it. I think the discrepancy in this one, when you look at these two teams, is the Chiefs defense and the Eagles defense. I mean, you look at as constructed, talent wise, the Eagles have, in my opinion, a huge edge over the Kansas City Chiefs, especially in the secondary. Not saying that they guys have their guys are bums, but they can be got. They can be got. I mean, um, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, both over 80 yards, or both over 70 yards receiving. Let me just take a look. See if there's like a. Let me see. Here we go.
Wow, Apple. Best picture.
Shut the hell up. Sorry. So you look at the Eagles and the Chiefs, their rankings overall. Top two offenses in the league, like I said. The Eagles with the third ranked defense in the league to their 12th. So the Eagles top defensive team in the league. The Chiefs about above average. About above average in the league. They obviously have a top passing defense, but their rushing defense is 20th in the league. That's a huge discrepancy. And in my opinion, where the Chiefs have been able to make their hay is up front with Chris Jones, Frank Clark, I mean, they got dogs. They got dogs. We got dogs. But I just think that they're not deep enough to compete with the Eagles. I really don't. Um, I think that Hassan Reddick showed the entire league, and well, especially the Chiefs because they have to play him in 2 weeks. Hassan Reddick showed teams that you can't just put a backup tight end over to Chip on the right tackle because he's just gonna eat y'all alive. Um, and when he's not eating or he's getting there, and they have to account for him, that opens up Javon Hargrave inside, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, BG. I mean, this is just a rotation that we have never seen before, like of this much depth, of this much talent. I mean, these guys are just absolutely nuts, loaded. They are low. The Eagles are loaded. And I've been saying this all year. They're loaded. Nobody can compete with this team. Mano y mano. Mano y mano. The key for the Chiefs, I would watch the game, like the first half film. Um, if you're able to stifle the run game and um take away those easy passing lanes, the easy crossers over the middle, and force the Eagles to work the screen game and the outside game in the short game because they did not take any shots other than two really like down the field sideline throws. Um, if you're able to do that against the Eagles, you're going to have a good shot at, keeping this game close because what the Eagles love to do very well is run the ball. If you're able to stifle the run, you can't really work the RPOs. That leaves the pass game open. And what you have to do is you have to clog because the Eagles love to run crossers and all these different concepts. If you can you gotta stay in your gaps, fill your hole, and not let anything over the middle. You'll be able to stop the offense, in my opinion. So that's what I think the Chiefs need to do defensively, to have a shot to win this game. Against the Eagles defense, I mean, you're going up against Pat Mahomes. They have some sneak. I mean, we've been saying all along, like they have a bunch of B-list receivers, but they have a lot of B-list receivers. Travis Kelce, obviously the best tight end in football. They don't. I mean, Pacheco has been a really good scat back for them. I think as far as the run game, that's where the Eagles can be got. I mean, it showed with Christian McCaffrey, but I don't think Pacheco is as good as McCaffrey is in running. But if the Chiefs are able to work like the screen and short pass game, which is what the Niners were able to do with Christian McCaffrey, and they do that consistently, I think it's going to be a long day for the Eagles defense. I really do. I mean, that's one facet in this scheme with this defense that we haven't consistently seen like teams really get the Eagles there just because it's like, all right, the Eagles get a huge lead. Well, we just have to pass our way out of it. And we're one of the best pass defenses in the league. I mean, we got got Slay, Bradbury on one side. Maddox is now back in the slot. So now CJ Gardner-Johnson's back in the safety with Epps. And you also have Reed Blankenship, who's a really, really good undrafted free agent rookie who got really good snaps for a Super Bowl team. And with our linebackers being good, and our defensive line and our defensive front being historic good, it's tough. It's tough, but I mean, if you're able to run misdirection and have a lot of shit going on, you can make this game interesting. I mean, that's one thing that the Eagles struggled with at times during the year when they played them was like David Montgomery, scat backs, check downs, and mobile quarterbacks. But everybody's going to struggle with the mobile quarterback. It's impossible with the zone read concept and the RPOs when you have a guy being able to be so much of a dual threat like Jalen Hurts or even a Justin Fields. It's very hard to completely stop um, that kind of an offense. You can only just hope to mitigate whatever they do as much as possible and hope that they step on their own toes and they shoot themselves in the foot. Um, I think those are the huge keys for Kansas City. So I think there is a method for the Chiefs to beat the Eagles, but it's going to come down to mano a mano and execution on both sides of the ball. Um, you look at the trenches. I think the Eagles are leaps and bounds better than the Chiefs in the trenches, offensively, defensively, just overall. And that's where the game starts. That was my key last week yesterday for the Eagles Niners. And we saw both fronts, especially the offensive line, just absolutely demolished the San Francisco 49ers defensive front. Just they were ragdolling them. Jordan Mailata, he had breakfast. He had breakfast for dinner. He cooked up Nick Bosa for dinner. Pancake. Sat on him. Pause. Put him on the ground. He said, "Good day, mate." Kept it going. Jason Kelsey. Landon Dickerson. Big country showing why he's a Pro Bowl consideration. I mean, these guys aren't going to be there. They got another bowl to play in. Michael Parsons will play their spot, though. But yeah, I think that's the keys for the Chiefs. I think the keys for the Eagles, it's really going to be playing your own game. It's really simple for the Eagles. They have the more talented roster, the more complete roster, I should say. They can really do whatever they want. I mean, the numbers here show that the Chiefs 20th against the run. You should be able to run effectively. Do what you did here. You got to get the zone read RPO going. You should be willing to get Jalen Hurts out on a couple QB keepers, just to keep the defense on their toes and work that and take your occasional deep shot. I think that the Chiefs secondary can be got. If it turns into a passing game, and the Eagles have to sit back there and throw, I have all the confidence in the world that Jalen Hurts will be able to throw all around the barn, all around the yard, pick the defense apart. I mean, he showed it this year. And, I just think the Eagles offense is going to take what their defense gives them, just as what they did with the 49ers this week. And defensively, it's very interesting, actually. You're going to want to get pressure on Pat Mahomes. But the matchup that I'm really intrigued about to see is what you do to mitigate Travis Kelce, because he is the guy. When you think of their pass catchers and their skill position guys, he is the dude that is like, all right, we got to stop this guy, but nobody can. Nobody can stop Travis Kelce. I honestly wanted to see CJ Gardner-Johnson on George Kittle this week. I mean, the game really didn't go that way. I mean, it was a freaking blowout. So they really didn't have to do too much as far as that. But there was a couple times over the middle where they had George Kittle lined up against Kaiser White and TJ Edwards, and I'm like, oh my God. Or Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield, just working on a linebacker, and I'm just like, oh no. That's one of the Achilles heels about the Eagles defense. There's not a lot of teams that are able to expose that, but it's out there. The Niners did it a little bit, but couldn't do much when you didn't have a quarterback. But at the same time, it is what it is. It's football. So, you keep going, roll with the punches, and you got it. If you win, you win. You lose, you lose. It is what it is. Can't make excuses. But yeah, I think the key is going to be the matchup on Travis Kelce. I think he can eat you alive, especially in the red zone. You want to find Travis Kelce. Cannot score. Whether you can't bracket Travis Kelce, I think that's kind of crazy. But I mean, you gotta have to do something with him. And just not not giving up the big play. I think they have a lot of guys that can take the top off the defense. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Juju Smith-Schuster isn't really that guy, so I'm not really worried about him. But MVS can do that. Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Pacheco can also take the top off the defense out of the backfield. It's interesting. They have a lot of B list guys. But they got a lot of speedy B list guys. So it's like they traded Tyreek Hill, but they traded for a bunch of dollar store Tyreek Hills, and it adds up to Tyreek Hill, as we can see. So it's going to be key to kind of keep that explosive passing game under wraps. Um, and I think the Eagles will be able to stop Pacheco. Um, I think as far as the run game goes, Christian McCaffrey is going to be the best thing that you see all year. And it's hard to stop CMC as we've seen. I mean, he bounced off of 4 Eagles, scored a touchdown to tie the game up in the second quarter. Um, it's tough. You got to tackle those guys. And it's no different here. I mean, you don't have a CMC or a Debo or a Kittle, but you have a Travis Kelce, you have a Pacheco, Pat Mahomes, who is a wizard with the football. Um, yeah, that's the keys for me with that game. But I think the Eagles win this game. I don't see why they wouldn't. I think it's going to be close. When you look on the NFL site, they have the spread odds presented by FanDuel. Their predicted score is the Eagles 26, the Chiefs 25. Um, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. Um, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something to watch for sure. I mean, this is a Super Bowl. Um, there's no it's no secret why these teams are the 2 best teams in the league. They've shown consistently that they can get the job done. And it's going to be about who can get the job done better. Um, that's really my thing. So I guess to kind of recap, for the Chiefs, it's going to be really, really stopping the zone read RPO concept, stalling the run on offense, taking away the middle of the field, and on defense. Um, well, I mean, on their defense to stop the Eagles offensively, and then um, for them offensively, I think you're going to see more of the screen game, the check downs. The Eagles have struggled with that in the receiving backs. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a healthy dose of Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, guys like that, because that's one soft spot of the Eagles defense is scat backs and receiving backs. So it's going to be tough. Um, because they usually don't play a traditional 4-3. They like to run the 5-2, and then your corners and your 2 safeties. Um, just because they generate so much pressure with the 5-man front. Because it's literally one-on-one across the board, so they bank on that. But you have 2 linebackers. So you can't really get a third out for flat defense. So it's tough. And that's a point of emphasis that the Chiefs can expose. But for the Eagles, it's just going to be, offensively playing your own game, taking what the defense gives you and not turning the ball over. That's been huge all year. The Eagles have barely done that. And it showed why they're one of the best teams in football, because when they're not beating themselves, nobody can beat them. But if they beat themselves, they can be got. Um, so yeah, for the Eagles offensively, getting the run game going, doing what they do best, and taking care of the football, taking what the defense gives them, being patient. There was so many opportunities for the Eagles that if they really wanted to just stick the dagger in the Niners, just with that deep ball, the long pass, that big home run house call, um, and it's so tempting by human nature to do that, but to have the discipline to just be like, you know what, take what the defense gives them. We're going to methodically get down here. It's not going to look pretty, but we're going to do it. Hats off. So yeah, offensively for them to do that, and then defensively, um, locating 87, um, and mitigating explosive plays, getting pressure. Obviously, I think the trench battle is going to be key. If they can get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, like I said, if they can get pressure on Brock Purdy against Daniel Jones, um, it's going to be a good day for us, a long day for them. And I'm confident. I'm confident that come summertime, come the start of next year, I'm gonna have 2 of these. I'm gonna have to start thinking about what to put on this hand. At this rate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pinky ring. Should it be a pinky ring? I don't know. We'll see. We'll have all spring and all summer to figure that out before they drop the new design. And I can go to my Chinese Super Bowl dealer, the ring dealers. Just don't wear them for too long because they turn your finger green. Um, when I went to Eagles, the Eagles live practice in the off season, I wore this to the game, and I got home and took it off, and my whole finger was green. So it'll turn your finger green, but it's a beautiful work of art. But yeah, man, it's almost Super Bowl time, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. This is going to be the longest 2 weeks of my life, of all of our lives. I guess one last thing before I head out of here. When you look at the Eagles team, it's hard because the job's not finished to just like sit back and reflect on the off season that we've had and the entire season it's just gone flawlessly. We've been witnessing history all year, ladies and gentlemen. This team is historic good. The defensive line, the best since the 85 Bears in terms of getting to the quarterback, getting sacks, 4 plus 10 or 4 10 plus sack guys. That's unheard of. I mean, you have an all pro, obviously all pro front, all pro secondary, Slay and Bradbury. This and the offense too. This is the best Philadelphia Eagles team that has ever existed in the entire whatever many year history of the Philadelphia Eagles. This right here, this team led by Jalen Hurts, Mr. Hurts season. This is the best one in Eagles franchise history. So it's no secret why they're in the Super Bowl. They're the best Eagles team that's ever been assembled. And that goes on Howie Roseman. You know, shout out to Howie Roseman. It's crazy because we've been calling for this man to get exiled on the chopping block. Walk the plank, Howie Roseman. That's what we were saying like 3 years ago. During the 2020 season, that was absolutely awful, god awful. And for him to turn around and turn lemons into lemonade, and have like a multi-billion-dollar lemonade industry company, whatever you want to call it. We're one win away from another one of these. Another one of these, another ring, another Lombardi. I'm gonna listen. I'll get me the ring, and I'll get me a Lombardi made. I don't care. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna do it. But it's just a great time to be a Birds fan. This team is absolutely historic, and it's been great to just witness this from week one, from the off season, knowing what to expect, knowing how good this team can be, and seeing it from week 1 to week 18 to the playoffs and now in the Super Bowl. It's just a damn good feeling, and all the rest of the league and a lot of fans on Twitter doubting you all the way just makes this moment sweeter because you bought in, you believed, you knew what could happen, and here we are, 60 minutes away from another one of these. 60 minutes, and I got 2 of these Johns. I'ma come blinged out to the next year's pod when we do the season preview for next year. I'm gonna be blinged out, bro. I'm gonna have the Meek Mill Dream Chasers chain. It's gonna be right here on this program, the Day One podcast. But yeah, but the thing about this team, they're so grounded, they're so level headed, they're worried about the moment at hand, and yeah, they're happy about this. But like they said, we didn't do all this. We didn't come here just to be here. We got business to take care of. We got a Lombardi to bring home. Second one, Vince needs his brother. He needs a little brother to come home. Listen, Vince came home. He saw his brother wasn't home. He said, he asked Mom, where's Vince? She said, he ran away. Vince got to come home. Vince got to come home. Got to bring Vince home. But yeah, it's just crazy to witness this. You're just witnessing history, and it's fantastic to watch. I'm so glad I'm an Eagles fan. This is just great. It's my second Super Bowl in the 6 years that I've in a 6-year stretch that I've seen the Eagles really succeed. I mean, I said it, I think it was in the last pod. I mean, the roller coaster that I've had as an Eagles fan after I started watching in like 2010, 2011, when I was like 9-10 years old, to really starting to get into following the Eagles, like when Nick Foles was in 2012, 2013, in that run, and then just the Chip Kelly era, and then we got Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz, and then that Super Bowl run, and then everything kind of just slowly fell apart to the 4-12 COVID year. We drafted Jalen Hurts. Howie Roseman was like we had Greg Ward was our leading wide receiver that year. Greg Ward and Travis Fulgham. What the hell? Then 2 years later, now you look. A.J. Brown, top 5 wide receiver in the league. Devontae Smith, debated top 10 wide receiver in the league. Definitely top 15. It's just crazy. It's crazy how this has just turned so far around. I mean, the Eagles have never had linebackers like they have. TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, Nakobe Dean. They got guys. And their secondary too. It's the best that they've ever had. And they've had a Troy Vincent, Bobby Taylor, Sheldon Brown, Lito Shepherd secondary with Brian Dawkins back there. I think this one's better. Slay, Bradbury, Maddox, 3 lockdown Pro Bowl corners, CJ Gardner-Johnson, interception leader, and Marcus Epps, who is a very solid, strong safety. And then I don't even have to talk about the offensive and defensive line because they're leaps and bounds the best that we've ever had. And yeah, it's just crazy. It really is. So to take it in, that you're going to the Super Bowl. Even though I was lit, I was so lit. You can ask Kyle when he comes back on in a couple days. I was on the phone with him, bro. I was on the couch. That room was spinning. The room was spinning. I'm like, what's going on? It was bad. I got so lit. That's gonna be me on Super Bowl Sunday. But it's cool. I don't care. Bird gang. What Dallas Goedert saying in the locker room? Bang bang, bird gang. But it's just been a crazy ride, and to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl again is just, it makes it all worth it. So I'm very happy. I'm very pleased to be an Eagles fan. And like I said, hopefully we're hoisting another Lombardi, and hopefully I got another one of these. Because look at this thing. This thing is so beautiful. Ain't it? Ain't it? I need me another one. I need another one. Come on, Philly, please. Please, please, please. I need another one. But yeah, this is crazy. So definitely, like this team is not going to be the same next year, I don't think. So just appreciate it while you can. This is the best team that the Eagles have ever had in their franchise history. And hopefully they can get the job done, write the story off the way it should be with the best team that they've ever had. And we'll have another Lombardi. So with that being said, it's been another day on the Day One podcast. I know this was, I kind of dragged it along talking about the birds, but relatively short. We'll get into more of the NFL news stuff with like Kellen Moore and the head coaching stuff when our co-host comes back on the program. Again, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, whether you're on a plane, bus, the moon, Mars, Elon Musk's Tesla, planet Andromeda, wherever the hell that is. Tell them, tap in to Day One podcast, comment, like, subscribe to all that stuff. And you know what? Philly Mike said, we need 100 subscribers by the end of the NFL season. Hit the sub button. It's free. We're at 28 right now. We need 72 more. 72. It's free. Just hit the subscribe button and like. I'll give y'all $1. $1 for everybody that subscribes to this program. Book it. Book it. Now sub up. Sub up. I'll give y'all $1 for every one of y'all that hits the subscribe button. $1. $1. Go hit the sub button. It's free. Like, comment, sub up. It's free. Help us out. You know what I'm saying? I hold myself to it. Come through for me, y'all. $1. Hit the subscribe button and drop your Cash App in the comments of this video. I'll give you $1. I'll give you $1. Me and my co-host will split the cost to give you $1. Just hit the sub button. It's free. It's profiting you, not me. Just hit the sub button. That's cool. But yeah, man, it's been real. It's another day on the Day One podcast. We'll be back to do a more in-depth breakdown of these games with our co-host and another preview of the Super Bowl matchup, some NBA news probably, because we're getting to that part of the pod year where, no more football. We're going to be switching the NBA talks. So I got to get my act together. I got to get into the loop. So yeah, with that being said, I'm out of here. I'm your co-host, Anthony. This has been the Day One podcast. Signing off. Peace.